Hi, 8th grade. Roy Lichtenstein was a great pop artist. He liked to use popular images and he liked to use cartoons and action words as part of his artwork. For example, he used what is known as onomatopoeia, and that is words that when you say them, they sound as if there's a sound like bang or boom. They tend to imitate the sound that you just heard that has no words to it. Pop, zap, pow, wham. These are all things that he used in his artwork. He loved to use popular images. For example, here is one of his most famous early paintings. This is called Wham! You may remember this from your sketchbook, and it's taken right out of the comics. He used comics as inspiration. For example, this is one of his favorite ones here where he has a couple talking, and this one's about Brad. Often they're about comments made about Brad. Why, Brad, darling, this painting is a masterpiece. My, soon you'll have all New York clamoring for your work. And you can see that he deliberately adds these little, what are called Ben-Day dots, which make it look like the mechanical process. At this time, if you looked at a newspaper or a Sunday comic, the colored sections would be done in various stages. So they'd print the black first, and then they'd come in maybe through the yellow and the red, and you'd get this, what it looks like dots in the background. And he loved that. He loved that it had that built-in mechanical look, and he would often accentuate that in his artwork, including the bendy dots, in part of the process. So what we're going to do is we're going to take a word, an onomatopoeia word, and we're going to Roy Lichtenstein it. So you can look up a variety of different words. You can see these examples here that are on eBay to use for a birthday party are exactly what we're talking about. This is all an homage to Roy Lichtenstein's work, even though many people might not know that. And so we're going to take a word and we're going to add Lichtenstein's touch to it. Now, first of all, what we need is we need a pencil, eraser, a Sharpie marker, and we need the primary colors, because very often the primary colors are what was used in these pictures. And so let's remind ourselves the primary colors are red, yellow, and blue. And sometimes there would be a light blue used in it, occasionally some other colors, but it just depends. These are the main colors for these action words. You need a piece of white regular paper. Now, the first thing you want to do is you want to come up with an action word. Pop, wham, boom, bang. These are onomatopoeia words. I'm just going to use something simple so that you can see what it will look like. You can get more complicated as you feel more confident with your project. I'm going to use POW. So what I want to do is I want to do block letters, POW, and I'm probably going to add an exclamation point at the end to make it look, action oriented. And then I'm going to add either a cloud around it, or I'm going to make it go out in jagged edges so it looks like the word's bursting out. So let's start with the POW. I'm going to go P, just very lightly, leave some space. Just doing a simple outline of the word POW. I think I'm going to make it a little closer. Okay, now I'm going to make it in block letters. I just did a quick outline to make sure I have enough room. So I'm going to go And then I'm going to make it jagged, like it's bursting out, like you would have in a cartoon, where something's happened to make this sound. Okay, so and then I'm gonna make sure that I have it all on the page the way I want it. I then am gonna take a Sharpie marker and I'm gonna go over my letters, and I wanna use my primary colors, but I also want one of them to be the bindi dots. So I think I'm gonna end up doing maybe this, the yellow with the bindi dots. Let's see. So let's do the words first. Now, back when I was a kid and Batman was on TV, where they had not just the cartoons, but the real characters, whenever something was happening and they didn't want to show, Batman punching somebody or something violent that, would be, upsetting for kids to watch, they would just put a big pow on the screen. So you never really saw any of the action happening or anything negative happening. They would be having a fight or a scuffle, but you would be seeing just the power words happening. You wouldn't actually be seeing it happening. Okay, now that I have it all outlined in black, I'm going to take my eraser and I'm going to make sure I erase all my pencil lines. Now, you can color this with marker or colored pencils or crayon. I'm going to use crayon because I want good even color. Just remember, if your markers are new, you should have no trouble, but if your markers are a little bit old, good old crayon has a good look to it. I may actually use my marker for my bindi dots because it may work out better that way, to have my dots in marker and then I can just color right over it with crayon. That might work really well. Okay. All right, I'm going to do my POW in red. Now, I want to do some bindi dots. I think I'm going to do them in marker. I think I'm going to do them in red marker so that I can just color over them with yellow crayon after I'm done. Bindi dots were little color formations in the printing process. Nobody put there on purpose. It just is what it looked like when it was printed, because newspapers wanted to have some color, but at the time they really couldn't run color photographs for the cost. If it was an area of the paper that was just going to, sort of be thrown out and the picture wasn't necessary, you'd have it done very cheaply, and the bindi dots would be a cheap way to do it. But Lichtenstein liked it. He thought it was a cool look. So we have the dots in the background. I can just color on top of the marker. Okay, and here I go. POW! I have a really cool Lichtenstein-inspired onomatopoeia word. Okay, hope you enjoy your project. Bye. Thanks.